An armed California man was arrested for threatening to kill Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh. The suspect is facing charges of attempted murder after he was ready to kill to give his life purpose. That's a quote. The 26-year-old arrived near the justice's home armed with a pistol and a tactical knife. For more on this, let's welcome in former CIA officer and FBI Special Agent Tracy Walder and news producer of Daily Signal Doug Blair. Welcome to Wake Up America. Tracy, I want to start with you. Some obviously scary news outside the home of Brett Kavanaugh. He was home. The family was home. What do you make of this threat on Justice Kavanaugh's life?
Well, thank you so much for having me. It's really disturbing, quite frankly. And what I think is the most disturbing, too, is that this threat really extends more to just him and to his immediate family as a whole. You know, someone was able to access his address, access the flex cuffs and all of the planning that went into this and really get that close to his home, because it wasn't until he saw the marshals that he sort of turned away.
Yeah, you're right, because he even said, I was able to find out where he lived. He got that information and then showed up at the house. Doug, you've covered these riots that were outside the justice's home at the beginning following the leak of the draft of the Roe versus Wade potential decision. Based on what you saw, does this news surprise you?
I mean, sadly, it doesn't shock me in the slightest. As I was covering these protests from day one, I noticed that each successive protest started to get a little bit more on edge. I mean, we were recently at Amy Coney Barrett's house, and they were blasting vulgar music and swearing at cops and yelling at neighbors. I wasn't shocked at all when I saw the news that somebody had attempted to take the life of one of the justices. This has gotten so intense, and the response from the administration has been so lukewarm and tepid that they feel empowered to do these types of things. I don't think this is going to be the last time we see something like this in the news.
Yeah, and let's not forget, protesting outside the justices' homes is illegal, and nothing has been done. Tracy, we know the suspect had pulled up to the justice's home, and then he called local emergency services explaining his mental state. I know a lot of people say that may come into question. What do you make of this? And obviously, you know, there's a major mental health crisis in our country, and then you do hear a lot of people say, well, I got this or the information, or I heard somebody say this, so I decided to go and do this. What do you make of this?
So I kind of have two thoughts on that. I fully agree that this is not the last time that we're going to see something like this. I hate to be so blunt, but, you know, I think in terms of the mental health argument, I know that a little bit has been made of that. I think he's going to have a really tough time trying to prove that, given the amount of premeditation that he seems to have put into this, acquiring all the materials that are needed. I think the second thing that we need to maybe think about that I haven't seen talked about a lot is really tightening our laws also against things like doxing, which is, you know, putting out private information really with the intent to harm, because all of the Supreme Court, particular Supreme Court justices' information was really compiled into a list and sort of sent out for people to go and protest there. And really now we're seeing that that can have some really violent implications. And we don't have a lot of legislation surrounding doxing laws. And I really think we need to think about that.
Yeah, absolutely. Doug, I know even after this happened at Justice Kavanaugh's house, there were protesters that were there. I don't know if you were there or if you heard. Is it getting worse?
I mean, it is. Like I said before, the fact that they haven't been receiving any pushback from this, from the powers that be, they haven't been arrested, they haven't seen any legal consequences, empowers them. They don't view this as something that they're going to stop until they get what they want. And I don't think that, you know, the administration or law enforcement has given them any reason to think that they will stop them. So until somebody takes action, at least at the federal level or the state level, this is going to keep happening.
Yeah, and it's really scary. Tracy, I know just a short time ago there was a retired judge in Wisconsin who was killed. This is not the first time we've heard of these types of things happening. You know, the Supreme Court justices, they go there to do a job, and now their lives potentially are at risk.
I fully agree. I really think that the House needs to take up the Supreme Court Security Act. It's really just been sort of languishing there. You know, it was unanimously approved by the Senate. It's been languishing in the House, and it's been sitting there since really about the beginning of May. And we need to do more. And we also need to protect the people who are in immediate relationship with these judges. It is their job to enforce the law and to make these decisions. And it is not our job to be playing judge, jury, and executioner with that. They have the right to do what they're doing, and this is their job, and it needs to be protected.
Yeah, I don't think that any of these judges imagine this would be happening to them. They're just in there to do their job.